Try it again. That's better. Luckily, it's the last week I have to do this, so. Well, welcome everyone to everyone here in the sanctuary and at home on the live stream to our Palm Sunday spiritual experience. And our guest speaker today is our old friend Rick Busby. He's a licensed community teacher, musician, he's a writer, and he has a very inspiring message for us this morning. Welcome back, Rick. And now let's begin with our opening song. Stand up. Stand up.
Lead me, Spirit, lead me everywhere I go. Lead me, Spirit, lead me everywhere I go. Lead me, Spirit, lead me everywhere I go. Take me by my hand and lead me on. Teach me, Spirit, teach me everywhere I go. Oh, teach me, Spirit, teach me everywhere I go. Teach me, Spirit, teach me everywhere I go. Take me by my hand and lead me on. I want you to keep me, Spirit, keep me everywhere I go. Keep me, Lord. Keep me, Spirit, keep me, Lord. Everywhere I go. Keep me, Lord. Keep me, Spirit, keep me everywhere I go. Everywhere I go. Won't you take me by my hand and lead me on? I want you to lead me, Spirit, keep me. I want you to guide me, Spirit. I want you to keep me. I want you to lead me. I want you to take me by my hand and lead me on.
Don't sit down. Don't sit down. Well, that was just a warm-up. Now we have another song, so back up.
We let the love wash over us. We let it be. We let the joy wash over us. We let it be. We let the peace wash over us. We let it be. wash over us. We let it be.
Today is Palm Sunday, and I'd like everyone to admire Anne's beautiful altar. Just gorgeous. And this is the beginning of the final week of Lent that leads up to the joyous message of Easter Sunday of renewal and resurrection. And I've been following this little pamphlet. Many of you may have picked one up. It's a really nice way for me to start each morning of Lent. And each little message begins with an affirmation, a release, and then there's a prayer, and then an affirmation at the end. And I like that because in unity, we all tend to love the affirmations, we love the positive stuff, but I've noticed that we can be a little less enthusiastic about the release. And it's such an important part of clearing out the old to make space for what we want to see manifest in our life. And today is the last Sunday that I'm going to be up here welcoming you, because starting next week on Easter, Reverend Tommy will take his place back up here where he belongs. By the way, my husband wants Dan to play this theme song from Rocky when Tommy walks up here next week. There we go. Of course he knows it. And I know we're just all so excited and looking forward to having Reverend Tommy and Rosemary back with us, and for all the possibilities that lie ahead. But before we start to affirm the wonderful future of Unity of Georgetown, I think it's a good idea to take time to search our hearts for anything we might need to release in order to make space for the good that we expect to come. And if you find anything like anger, resentment, unforgiveness, this might be a good time to start the work of letting it go, because we don't want to carry that burden with us. It will only slow us down as we move forward into our future. And I know we've learned some important lessons, and we are wiser and stronger. And that's the gift to us that's come out of this situation. And so we accept it gratefully as we move forward. And we release anything that is not love. And we live into the truth. We've said it many times over the past month, that only love prevails. And we've seen that happen right here. All right, please join me now in affirming our mission statement together. We are a thriving spiritual community, inspiring and empowering individual and global transformation as exemplified in the life and teachings of Jesus. Once again, welcome to Unity of Georgetown. And now we have some announcements.
Good morning. If we have someone here for the first time, we'd like to give you a special welcome. So if you feel comfortable doing so, could you stand and give us your name? Yes, ma'am. Good morning. And Pauline? Oh. Well, we're glad to have you, Pauline, and welcome. Uh, we the ushers, I think, will bring you a welcome packet if you'd like, but you don't have to fill it out if you're just visiting today. Oh, you've got one already. Very good. Okay, well, thank you for being here, and welcome. So we have some announcements. Of particular note, we will have 2 location changes for our Sunday service this month. Next week, Easter Sunday, April the 20th, we will be at the Oaks for Easter. The following Sunday, April the 27th, will be an outdoor service at the Legacy Hills Park Pavilion, which is basically across the street from the Oaks. And there'll possibly be a picnic lunch involved with that outdoor service, so be sure to watch for details in the newsletter and on the website. The next Let's Get Metaphysical meeting is on Wednesday, April the 16th at 9:30. The group will meet at the Legacy Hills Park if the weather permits. Otherwise, the backup will be at the home of Renee Barnes, 405 Rockport Drive here in Sun City. So check your email for info and links to the video that will be discussed. As always, you can stay in touch on our website, our Friday morning e-newsletter, or you can email us at unitygeorgetown@gmail.com.
Okay, so this is one, I told this one a couple years ago, but it's one of my very favorites. It's got a title even, and it's called the Amish Elevator. So there's this Amish man and his son, and for the first time in their lives, they're in a shopping mall. And they're just standing there looking around, and all of a sudden, these 2 stainless steel, very tall doors just open up. And the man looks over, and there's a lady in a wheelchair, very frail, quite old, and she rolls into this little room. And the doors close. And they stand there watching these doors, and there are lights across the top that flash one after the other, and they go all the way to the other side, and then the lights start flashing all the way back to the first one, and then the door opens, and out walks this beautiful, voluptuous, curvy, blonde lady, so shapely and so vivacious. And the Amish man looks at his son and says, "Go get your mother."
And now it's time for us to settle and to get ready to enjoy the sacredness of this very present moment. So as I ring the crystal bowl, let your heart open. Let your minds open to the possibility of everything. For with God, nothing is impossible. So as we ring the bowl, let that sound go through every cell of your body as we begin this sacred service.
Today's daily word is Palm Sunday. And the inspiration for today's daily word comes from John 12:13. So they took branches of palm trees and went out to meet him, shouting, Hosanna! Blessed is he who comes in the name of the Lord. Today is Palm Sunday, the commemoration of Jesus' arrival in Jerusalem that symbolizes the awakening of the Christ spirit in humankind. Those who followed Jesus into Jerusalem shouted, Hosanna! Blessed is the one who comes in the name of the Lord. Imagining this joyous scene, I feel inspired to follow Jesus' action and express more of the love, peace, joy, and light of my Christ nature. As Holy Week begins, I open my heart and my mind to more fully embody and share the Christ of my being. I feel blessed knowing that others around the world are doing the same. Together, we can bring peace and healing to the world and to each other. And that fulfills the promise of Jesus. So the affirmation is, on Palm Sunday, I celebrate the divine presence within. Would you please say that with me twice? On Palm Sunday, I celebrate the divine presence within. On Palm Sunday, I celebrate the divine presence within.
I am the place where God lives, moves and breathes and has its being. I am the place where God shows up.
And now, if you will please join me in affirming our statement of being and our vision statement. There is only one presence and one power active in the universe and in my life, God the good omnipotence. Centered in God, we co-create a world of love, peace, and abundance. And now we'll have an inspirational song.
In this moment, in this place, I remember who I am, letting fear and worry fall away from me. I open my eyes and see there is only love. There is only love, love that heals, love that sets me free. There is only love. When I lose myself, when I feel I've lost my way, I go inside and quiet my mind. I can hear Spirit gently say, there is only love. There is only love. Love that heals, love that sets us free. There is only love. Love that heals, love that sets us free. There is only love.
Thank you, Dan. Thank you, our wonderful music team. And now it is time in our service to turn inward as we go into prayer. For you are the blessed one who has come to show love and healing, to hold that space of peace and truth, to be that example of how Jesus would have us live our lives. So now at this time, if there is anyone or any situation that needs some special healing, bring them into this sacred circle by either saying their names out loud or silently, knowing that your prayer has already been heard and answered as we go into prayer. Spirit, we are so grateful for this opportunity, this freedom to meet safely, knowing that you are here with us in every present moment. We rejoice in the great news. Hallelujah! Hosanna! Jesus reigns as that powerful guide. We simply need to go within and listen to that guidance. And so now we're going to have some special music with Dan and Emma Jane Conley. Thank you.
Don't be afraid. It's only a part of yourself. A part pushed away, lost on an old forgotten shelf. That part holds a treasure, an important piece of you. Rewards beyond measure when you're willing to look at the truth. There is a light, always a light, at the heart of our honesty. There is a light, always a light, at the heart of our courage. Shine the light, aim the light, at the darkness we hide and cry and hurt from. Dare to be wise, open your eyes. We're all the same. Use love and God's name to bring darkness to light. Believe in your goodness. Believe in your brilliance. And your soul can proceed in its precious healing dance, an adventure of a lifetime awaits all of us. We all hold the mystery in the center of our trust. There is a light, always a light, at the heart of our honesty. There is a light, always a light, at the heart of our courage. Shine the light, aim the light, at the darkness we hide and cry and hurt from. Dare to be wise, open your eyes. We're all the same. Use love and God's name to bring darkness to light. Don't be fooled by the shadows. You can make a perceptual shift. In the middle of your greatest fear is your greatest gift. There is a light, always a light, at the heart of our to be wise. Open your eyes. We're all the same. Use love and God's name to bring darkness to light. Dare to be wise. Open your eyes. We're all the same. Use love and God's name to bring darkness to light.
Thank you, Emma Jane, Kim, Shonda, Dan. Thank y'all very much for getting the day started off with some great music. Happy Palm Sunday, everyone. And congratulations on the return of Reverend Tommy. I know that was a very exciting piece. It's my honor and privilege to be here with you all this morning on Palm Sunday. This is actually one of my favorite Sundays of the year to speak on. There's just so much metaphysical symbolism in the Palm Sunday story. We're not really going to have time to break every little component down that we could. I'm going to get into three aspects of it today in the talk. What I want to do to start this off, there's a section in Course in Miracles students. You got Course in Miracles students? Okay. There's a section in A Course in Miracles that's in the chapter called The Vision of Holiness, and it's the first chapter in that section, and it's talking about Holy Week. And so the first couple of paragraphs of that talk I'm going to read, like the first half of it here at the beginning, and then we're going to bookend the talk with the second reading. So it starts off, this is Palm Sunday, the celebration of victory and the acceptance of the truth. Let us not spend this Holy Week brooding on the crucifixion of God's Son, but happily in the celebration of his release. For Easter is the sign of peace, not pain. A slain Christ has no meaning, but a risen Christ becomes the symbol of the Son of God's forgiveness on himself, the sign that he looks upon himself as healed and whole. And that's the ultimate heart of the Palm Sunday, or actually the Holy Week experience with Palm Sunday, is that recognition. And the title of today's talk is Hosanna, Hosanna. And y'all recall the Palm Sunday story and the Holy Week story when Jesus is making his entry into Jerusalem and the crowds are gathered around and all very excited about it. And they begin chanting that Hosanna at him. And there's a couple aspects that I want to unpack with respect to the Hosanna. First of all, just to give you Charles's sort of definition of, this comes from the Metaphysical Bible Dictionary, by the way, just a summation of the Hosanna. He says it represents the joyful obedience and homage that all the thoughts in one's consciousness give when an error state of mind is overcome. Once again, for Course in Miracles students, that's pretty much what that whole process is in A Course in Miracles. To work in A Course in Miracles is a correction to our error thinking. So that whole practice in A Course in Miracles ultimately kind of brings us into this state of the recognition of the Hosanna, that bringing all of our error thoughts into alignment. Unity's third principle is what? We're co-creating this experience by the thoughts and the feelings that we allow to dominate in our consciousness. Thoughts kind of, does it seem like to y'all sometimes that your thoughts are kind of running on autopilot, that you don't really have any kind of executive control over them? But that is the work, right? That is the third principle here, that we take charge and we take responsibility for those thoughts. In fact, if you really want to slice it very, very thin, that really is the only place in our lives where we truly have executive control, executive management is in ordering our thoughts. And the crowds that are gathered around as Jesus is making his entry into Jerusalem there, that are recognizing that Hosanna, on the one hand, the Hosanna is a sort of a prayer of safety and protection. But in another sense, like I always kind of link it to the namaste in a certain way. The namaste, the divine in me sees and recognizes the divine in you. Once again, for A Course in Miracles students, you might recall there's a section in A Course in Miracles where it talks about the Christ vision. And what is the Christ vision, and how do you know if you are seeing with the Christ vision? The easy way to summarize that, to know that you're doing, that the Christ vision is when I look at Emma Jane, for example, and I see the Christ in Emma Jane. It's the same as the namaste, right? The divine in me recognize the divine in you. But when I see the Christ in Emma Jane, I'm actually seeing with the Christ within. I can't see the Christ within truly in Emma Jane if I'm coming from Rick's personality, ego consciousness. Rick's going to make of Emma Jane what he wants. But when we truly are willing to see the Christ within another person, we are seeing from the Christ within ourselves. It's a reciprocal, immediate exchange. So if you want to practice your own Christ vision, be willing to see the Christ in others. Not just some others. All others. That's where the rubber meets the road, so to speak, right? Because we want our ego, our personality self, our fearful self wants to separate out and say, oh, well, these folks over here are willing or capable and so forth, and are deserving of me seeing the Christ in him, but these other folks over here, not so much. But the reality is that in order for us to bring our own thoughts into alignment, to truly embody the spirit of the Hosanna, we have to be willing to practice it with everybody without exception. We were talking earlier, someone was mentioning about release, letting go, right? This whole entire Lenten season. I saw somebody had the Lenten book in their hands a minute ago. If y'all been following along with the Lenten season book, you know that practice in those 40 days leading up to Easter, every one of the daily affirmations is about what? Release, release. I let go of this, I let go of that, let go of this. When I think I've let go of enough, there's turn around. There's still more to let go of. And it's the Course in Miracles, once again, would say that practice of removing the blocks to the awareness of love's presence. And for those of you all who have studied that, A Course in Miracles states at the very beginning that the purpose of the Course is not to teach the meaning of love. Like, has anybody figured that out yet? Y'all know what love means? It's not teaching us the meaning of love. It's teaching us how to remove the blocks to the awareness of love's presence. And what would block us, what would provide those blocks in just a simple sense, is anything that's derived from fear. Now, fear can show up in many manifestations. We can feel shame, we can feel anger, we can feel judgment, criticism, false pride, apathy, all of those negative lower end emotions and everything. They're all the resultant consequence of choosing from fear. And when we're choosing from fear, we're choosing from our non-Christ self, our human self, our ego self, our personality self, our little self. And so it's easy to recognize when we're doing that. It truly is easy to recognize. All you got to do is check in with yourself and say, hey, do I feel at peace right now? If I'm in judgment, whether of myself or another, I can do that. And God won't stop me, so to speak. But I cannot do that and also experience peace. So if you're not feeling peace for any reason, as A Course in Miracles would say, you've chosen wrongly. right? It's just error thinking. You're just mistaken. Sin is just an error, right? It's an error to be corrected, not an action to be punished or judged. Just an error to be corrected. And every time we bring ourselves back into alignment, take executive management control of our own thoughts and feelings, and to bring them back into alignment with that love, we experience peace. But that's also the same thing as the Hosanna. It's that ordering of our thoughts, bringing it back into alignment so that we can see rightly. And if we were truly seeing rightly, we would see the Christ in every single person assembled here today. Every single person is worthy of making that entry into Jerusalem, and the rest of us standing around going, Hosanna, Hosanna. Because in the Hosanna, it's not just recognizing that person or saying a prayer of safety for that person. That, as A Course in Miracles says, we're seeing from our own Christ vision. I cannot recognize the Christ in another if I'm not connected with the indwelling Christ within myself. So in a certain sense, Jesus' coming was just like a homecoming for everyone. This is the beginning of Holy Week, so to speak, this Palm Sunday. That's what we count as the Holy Week. If you all think about the events that sort of symbolically began happening today, 5 days later, we're crucifying Jesus. 3 days after that, he's being resurrected. So we get that whole of that dynamic of that triumphal entry into Jerusalem, the recognition from the crowds assembled. Now the crowds, Charles would say, metaphysically speaking, that the crowds assembled symbolize our own thinking, right? As we're trying to bring ourselves into alignment with that Christ truth and everything. And the crowds are saying all kinds of things. They're just like, have y'all ever stood, and you probably have, stood in a place and you just you can see everybody talking. You might every once in a while get a snippet of something that somebody's saying, but it just sounds like just kind of a buzz, just kind of a cacophony of everybody talking at once. And that's how an undisciplined mind is. That's how an undisciplined mind is, that we're just going, it seems like thoughts are on autopilot, and that we're not necessarily in control. That if we're turn on the TV, turn on the news, if you don't have anything to think about, turn on the news. That'll get you ratcheted up. But like Dr. Michael Beckwith says, that every news headline is a prayer request. Now that's a game changer. Then if I turn on the TV and I'm seeing the news and I'm seeing the noise of the world, that instead of responding in anger or fear or judgment, that we take that moment and go, that's an opportunity to pray for others, to pray peace. Not pray for peace, pray peace. Pray the thing itself. When we're praying for something, we're praying actually from a sense of lack. If I'm praying for something that I perceive as being absent, we need some, get some out here, bring it in here. It's like, no, the peace already exists. The peace already exists. It's already present. It's up to me to remove my own blocks to the awareness of it. So all the work is always internal. We do more good for the world and more service for the world by simply doing our own internal work. Not that there's not opportunities for us to, take part in activities in the world to make the world a better place. But if we're doing that internal work ourselves, we're showing up as the best version of ourselves. We're showing up as the best Christ representative. But the work is really our own internal work. That's the heavy lifting part. And that if we do that work, then when we involve ourselves in activities and services to the world, we're showing up as our best Christ self. And showing up as our best Christ self is being willing to see the Christ in Dean. It's being willing to see the Christ in Donna. It's being willing to see the Christ in everyone, without exception. Do y'all think Jesus made exceptions? Maybe the money changers, they turn the money changers' tables over and everything. People look at that and go, hey, Jesus is angry. He's being judgmental. No, he was trying to correct what was an error within the temple. That the temple should be a place of worship, a temple should be a place of reverence, a temple should be a place where we grow, where we go, I should say, to be in connection. But the temple is any place that you are. We can all go out here and sit out here in the trees and everything and have a perfectly communal experience with the divine right under the trees. It doesn't have to be in a formal building. It can be anywhere. Wherever two or more are gathered. Y'all heard that one before, right? Wherever two or more are gathered. And it's in that mutual exchange, that mutual Hosanna, that recognition, that namaste, that willingness to see with the Christ vision, to see the Christ in another person, is how I practice seeing with the Christ vision. It's like simple to understand. It's simple to explain. But we get distracted in the world, don't we? We still have a human component in us. And that human component will bring us out of alignment with our true nature. It will distract us. There will always be wars and rumors of wars. We've heard that. This is not just military conflicts we're talking about. The wars in the metaphysical sense is anything that would compete for your peace. Anything that would compete for your peace is, metaphysically speaking, a war. It's the opposite of the peace. So there will always be wars and rumors of wars. Jesus also teaches in that same context, but be not concerned by the appearance of the wars and the rumors of wars. This is the world giving birth to itself. That when we practice the Hosanna, when we practice seeing with the Christ vision, we are bringing ourselves, and once again, reminder of Unity's third principle, which we practice here, we're co-creating this experience by the thoughts and the feelings that we're allowing to dominate in our consciousness. Right? Brian's not in charge of my consciousness. He doesn't have time in his day to come over here and make sure that I'm doing it right. But he can, from where he is, he can pray from that Christ self within himself, and he can pray peace. He can pray peace for me. Right? And as he's praying peace for another, he's also bringing into alignment his own error thoughts and bringing them back into alignment so that he can see rightly. And that's what the crowds were doing on that day when Jesus makes his entry into Jerusalem. Now keep in mind, Jesus entered into Jerusalem on Palm Sunday, but a week or so before that, he was just kind of in the outskirts of town. He was continuing to teach. He was continuing to heal. He was continuing to minister to people. And interestingly, he also told the apostles for the third time that he was going to be crucified this coming week. They weren't ready to hear that. How is that possible? Look how popular you are. Everybody loves you. But Jesus knew that there's a divine plan. There's a divine order being worked out. And that in order for him to be resurrected in that cosmic divine sense, to make it available to all of us who follow, that he had to die. He had to be crucified so that he could be resurrected. Of course, in miracles, we'll talk about that as sort of a positive interpretation of Easter, where we can move from what we would see just in a human sense, the horror of the crucifixion and how horrible that is. Anybody see The Passion of the Christ, the Mel Gibson movie, when it came out? I remember when I saw that, and I'd known the story. We've all known the story. But when you're actually seeing it depicted, like how it would have gone down in that time, I was just like, how brutal it was, how truly brutal it was. And it was an extreme form of what some of the children of God could do to another child of God. And that's all it was. But Jesus knew that had to play out. Because without the crucifixion, without the death to that human component of himself, there could be no resurrection. And without the resurrection, which symbolically represents our own resurrection, right? We couldn't have one without the other. They all go together. There is a divine order. And so Jerusalem, Charles would point out to us that Jerusalem itself metaphysically represents the habitation of peace. It's the home of peace. So that entry into Jerusalem, right, represents symbolically our own entrance into the habitation of peace. They're celebrating with laying the palms out, the palm fronds out. That's what they would do to conquering heroes who were returning. When the conquering hero would be returning to the town or the village, they would lay those palm fronds out. And so they were doing the same thing to Jesus. They're recognizing the work that he's been doing, that he's entering into Jerusalem, this habitation of peace. And we say, Hosanna. We're praying protection on that Christ, but at the same time, we're praying protection for Jesus as the Christ. We're also, once again, praying from that awareness of that indwelling Christ in ourselves. And how do we do that here in unity? We practice in the silence, don't we? That's our fourth principle, that we go into the silence. We go into that silent meditation so that we can connect with that indwelling. Be still and know. Right? There's nothing to do except be still and know. Does anybody have a challenge with being still and being quiet? Is it just me? Right? We feel like we have to be doing something. That it's to many of us, and myself included, over the course of time, it feels like a waste of time to sit still and do nothing. And yet, it's probably the most valuable practice that we can do if we're going to bring ourselves in alignment with that indwelling truth. And so that's what we're going to do now. We're going to practice that now. But before we get to that, I wanted to read that last paragraph from A Course in Miracles that I promised y'all at the beginning there to kind of bookend this. So we left off with it saying that a slain Christ has no meaning, but a risen Christ becomes the symbol of the Son of God's forgiveness on himself, the sign that he looks upon himself as healed and whole. That's where we left off. So this week begins with palms and ends with lilies, the white and holy sign that the Son of God is innocent. Let no dark sign of crucifixion intervene between the journey and its purpose, between the acceptance of the truth and its expression. This week we celebrate life, not death, and we honor the perfect purity of the Son of God and not his sins. Offer your brother the gift of lilies, not the crown of thorns, the gift of love, and not the gift of fear. You stand beside your brother, thorns in one hand and lilies in the other, uncertain which one to give. Join now with me and throw away the thorns, offering the lilies to replace them. This Easter, I would have the gift of your forgiveness offered by you to me and returned by me to you. We cannot be united in crucifixion and in death, nor can the resurrection be complete till your forgiveness rests on Christ along with mine. Once again, we see that reciprocal kind of energy. It's back and forth, that my salvation depends on yours as well. Of Course in Miracles at one point talks about the atonement. One way to think about that is the at-one-ment. That the atonement, that the real work is to accept the atonement for myself. That's the real work. That's the real work for you. It's the real work for me. Because if there's one of us holding out, only one of us, all the rest of us have accepted the atonement, but there's one holdout, then the atonement, the at-one-ment, the oneness is incomplete. So if we really, really want to help in the healing of the world and everything, is that we truly accept that oneness. We truly accept our place in the atonement. And as we do, and we add our consciousness to that collective consciousness, that's literally how we change the world. We don't change the world by the external effects out here first. We have to change internally change the quality of our own consciousness. And as we do, we contribute to the healing of the world. And we'll do more good for the world by simply taking responsibility of our own work and taking charge of that. Once again, we're co-creating this experience, right? We're co-creating the experience by the thoughts and the feelings that we're allowing. So this, as we go through this Holy Week, and the next week is truly going to be an Easter Sunday for you all, truly a resurrected kind of thing with, Reverend Tommy being back here. This is the perfect symbol for this congregation. Y'all have been through, just in the past, year or so, certainly the past 6 months or so, through a death of sorts. A lot of crisis and a lot of overturning, but there's a new community that's emerging out of this, a stronger community that's emerging out of this, a more unified thing. That's a resurrection experience. That's an Easter experience. Y'all are truly embodying that. So as you go through this week, this Holy Week, starting with today, say that Hosanna to one another. Pray that protection, praying from that Christ consciousness, that the Christ is present. The Christ is dynamic and is working in this community. And y'all have the perfect symbol. Next Sunday, I'm not speaking somewhere next Sunday. Maybe I'm going to come back over here, because this would be the best place to be next Sunday, to come see Reverend Tommy. So, yeah. So with that, let's just take a few moments, and you did a while ago, just like shake off all of that stuff. Like, you don't need to even think about that, because you already know it. It's already in your soul. It's already present with that indwelling Christ within you. That our work right now is, in practicing the silence, is to simply be still and know and connect with that indwelling Christ. So I invite you, if you're comfortable, to gently close your outer eyes. Dan's going to play a little prelude music here for us and bring us into that space. I just, as I said, if you're comfortable, close your outer eyes and just attend to your breathing as we practice connecting with that indwelling Christ presence. Living, loving Spirit, thank you for this Holy Week. Thank you for this Palm Sunday, for this opportunity for us to once again release and let go of anything, any thought, any judgment, any fear that is not love. For we know that what is not love is not the Christ. More than anything, on this Palm Sunday, at the entry of this Holy Week leading to Easter, more than anything, we wish to recognize the Christ, to recognize the presence of the Christ in that indwelling place in our hearts, that connection point to the divine. And we know that as we practice, as we connect with that indwelling Christ, that we acknowledge and affirm, we're able to say, Hosanna, Hosanna. Blessed is the one who comes in the name of the Lord. Blessed is the Christ. Blessed are each of my brothers, each of my sisters, each of my extended family, all of which are the Christ. I see that Christ in others. And I say, Hosanna, Hosanna. Blessed are you. As we enter into Jerusalem, we enter into that habitation of peace. We do so in perfect alignment with God's truth, with God's love, with God's power. We celebrate that indwelling Christ, and we see it expressing in and through us into the world. And as we allow that Christ to express, we know that not only are we healed in the process, but that we are contributing to the healing of the world. We are contributing to the atonement, that place in divine alignment where we truly, truly are all one. And more importantly, we are aware, consciously aware of that underlying oneness. We are ever so grateful for the Christ. We are ever so grateful for the life and lessons that Jesus, our way shower and teacher, brought to the planet. That dynamic message of Christ's love that is still today playing out in our lives more than 2,000 years later. We commit to this week, this holy week, to redouble our efforts to release anything that is not love, anything that is not the Christ. We commit to seeing the Christ in others. And as we do so, we recognize that by seeing the Christ in others, we are seeing from the Christ within our own being. And so this Easter season, we celebrate in joy. We do not see pain. We see redemption. We see resurrection. We see life. And we see the Christ everywhere our eyes move. We see the Christ in each and every person, even if we're not physically with them in the practice of our consciousness. We allow those that challenge us, we allow ourselves to see the Christ in them. And as we do so, not only are we healed, but we forgive and release our brothers. We forgive and release our sisters from our own grievances. We set the stage not only for our own resurrection in this coming week, but we allow them too to be resurrected into that divine truth where only love prevails. For this Holy Week, for the Friday that's coming up, for the next Sunday that's coming up, we celebrate our own individual and community resurrection as well. And we know that Christ is present. We know that God is present. We know that love is present. And for all of this and so much more, we are ever so grateful. And so we say thank you, thank you, thank you, living, loving Spirit. We pray all of this and more in the name and the nature of the indwelling Christ. And so it is, and so we allow it to be. Amen.
Thank you, Rick, for that really inspiring talk, and you've given us a lot to ponder and practice in this coming week. Thank you so much. All right, now, yes. Thank you. So now is a time in our service when we pledge our tithes and offerings to our spiritual center. And so if you want to take your gifts and hold them in your hand while we affirm our affirmation together. Divine love through me blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I give, all that I receive. I give in love and I trust God.
Is blessed by your hand. I give it back to you. Everything I give, every thought that's true is magnified and kind. I give it back to you.
All right, as our ushers or our usher is coming forward. Claudia, you got it, Claudia. Let's take this time to bless and dedicate these offerings. We bless and dedicate these tithes and offerings as an expression of divine love, and we release them to manifest that love in our community and in our world. Thank you. All right, let's take a moment now to bless the children of the world as we always do. These children who are our future, we see them awakening more and more to the Christ within them and in all other people and healing and transforming our world. So let's bless the children. We love you, we bless you, we appreciate you, and we behold the Christ you are. All right, some reminders. First, Donna Sue is our chaplain today. She's available to pray with you one-on-one. Wednesday, let's get metaphysical, either in the park or at Renee's house. Next week at the Oaks for Easter Sunday with the return of Reverend Tommy and Rosemary. And also, I believe Reverend Tommy is going to be performing with his band at Mulligan's this Friday. So if you just can't wait till Sunday, go hear him play the drums. All right, well, thank you everyone who made our service possible and all of you for being here, sharing your light and energy at our Sunday service. And now let's sing the peace song and the prayer for protection together.
Let there be peace on earth, and let it